D.B Cooper. D.B Cooper is the only unsolved airplane hijacking in American history. On November 24, 1971, a man calling himself Dan Cooper boarded a Northwest Orient Airlines flight. He claimed to have a bomb in his briefcase and demanded $200,000 in 4 parachutes. The plane landed in Seattle, where his demands were met. He then instructed the plane to take off again, heading toward Mexico. At 8:13 p.m., Cooper jumped from the plane with the money and parachutes. He was never seen again. His identity remains unknown. In 1980, a boy found $5,000 of Cooper's money on a riverbank, but nothing else was ever recovered. The Zodiac Killer. The Zodiac Killer is one of the most infamous unsolved serial killer cases in American history. He terrorized Northern California in the late 1960s and early 1970s. He killed at least 5 people, but he claimed to have killed 37. He sent taunting letters to police, some of which included cryptograms that have never been solved. His identity has never been confirmed, though several suspects have been named. The case remains open, and the Zodiac Killer has never been caught. Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper is the most famous unsolved serial killer case in history. During the autumn of 1888, he terrorized the Whitechapel district of London, killing at least 5 women in a brutal manner. All of his victims were prostitutes, and their bodies were mutilated in ways that shocked the nation. The police received dozens of letters claiming to be from the killer, but only a few were considered genuine. The most famous was the "From Hell" letter, which came with a piece of a human kidney. Despite an extensive investigation, Jack the Ripper was never caught. His identity has been the subject of endless speculation, with over 100 suspects named over the years. The case remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in criminal history. The Black Dahlia. The Black Dahlia is one of the most famous unsolved murders in American history. On January 15, 1947, the body of Elizabeth Short was found in a vacant lot in Los Angeles. She had been cut in half at the waist and drained of blood. The scene was so shocking that it made national headlines. Elizabeth had been an aspiring actress who traveled to Hollywood, hoping to make it big. Instead, she became the victim of one of the most brutal murders ever committed in the city. The killer left no fingerprints and no witnesses, making the case nearly impossible to solve. Over the years, dozens of people have confessed, but none have ever been proven. The question of who killed Elizabeth Short remains unanswered to this day. The Somerton Man. The Somerton Man is one of the most baffling unsolved mysteries in Australian history. On December 1st, 1948, a well-dressed man was found dead on Somerton Park Beach in Adelaide. He had no identification, and all the tags on his clothing had been carefully removed. There were no signs of violence, and the cause of death was never determined. In his pocket, police found a scrap of paper with the words "Tamam Shud" printed on it. The phrase means "it is finished" in Persian. The paper was traced to a copy of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, which contained a hidden message written in pencil. The message has never been decoded, and the man's identity remains completely unknown to this day. The Mary Celeste. The Mary Celeste is one of the most famous ghost ships in maritime history. On December 5, 1872, the ship was found drifting off the coast of Portugal with no one on board. It was still sailing under full canvas, with no damage to the hull and all its cargo intact. The entire crew had vanished without a trace. There was no sign of a struggle, no blood, and no evidence of violence. The ship was in perfect condition, and the crew's personal belongings were still on board. The only thing missing was the lifeboat. To this day, no one knows what happened to the crew of the Mary Celeste. The Voynich Manuscript. The Voynich Manuscript is one of the most mysterious books ever discovered. It is filled with strange illustrations of unknown plants, astronomical charts, and mysterious figures. The book was discovered in 1912 by a Polish book dealer named Wilfrid Voynich, who found it in an Italian monastery. The text is written in an unknown script that has never been deciphered. Despite decades of effort, the world's best cryptographers have been unable to read a single word. Some believe the manuscript is a lost language from an unknown civilization. Others think it is an elaborate hoax. Whatever it is, the Voynich Manuscript remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in the world of books and writing. The Dyatlov Pass Incident. The Dyatlov Pass Incident is one of the most chilling unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. In February 1959, 9 experienced hikers died under strange circumstances in the Ural Mountains of Russia. Their tent was found cut open from the inside, and the group had fled into the freezing night without proper clothing. Some of the bodies showed signs of severe trauma, including fractured skulls and broken ribs. One victim was missing her tongue and eyes. The official investigation concluded that the deaths were caused by an unknown compelling force. Theories have ranged from an avalanche to a secret military test to extraterrestrial involvement. Despite decades of investigation, the true cause of their deaths remains unknown, and the Dyatlov Pass incident continues to haunt researchers to this day. The lead mass case. The lead mass case is one of Brazil's strangest unsolved mysteries. On August 20th, 1966, the bodies of 2 men were found in a field near Rio de Janeiro. They were both wearing suits and heavy lead masks over their faces. They had no visible injuries, and their bodies showed no signs of violence. One of them was holding a piece of paper that read, "16:30, be at the agreed place." Nearby, police found 2 empty water bottles and a towel. The cause of death remains unknown, and investigators have never been able to explain what happened. The case has generated many theories, but nobody knows for sure what happened to them. The Count of St Germain. The Count of St Germain is perhaps the most mysterious figure in European history. He appeared in royal courts across Europe in the 1700s, claiming to be hundreds of years old. He spoke dozens of languages fluently, played the violin like a master musician, and was an alchemist. He also claimed to have discovered the secret to immortality. Many influential people believed him, including kings and queens. The Count never seemed to age, and he could recall events from centuries earlier. He vanished in 1784, leaving behind a legacy of mystery. Some people even say he is still alive today, wandering the world and hiding among us. His true identity remains an unsolved mystery,